Hello, everybody. Just got out of dialysis and feeling a little kind of tired. Had a blood pressure drop in there and didn't feel too good there for a little while, but feeling better now. But I thought I'd decide to uh, sit in my car and wait a few minutes before I took off and just kind of gather my strength a little bit. And I just had a couple things on my mind. I thought I'd share a little bit. And please, if you're watching this, please feel free to comment on your ideas. As um, as I grew up, of course, as a Jehovah's Witness, I always heard just like everybody else has, that the end is just around the corner. Armageddon's is right there, and this I remember that all my life. Nearly 45 years, and of course, I was too young to remember the 1975 incident. I didn't actually know anything about it until I was a teenager, and my dad had told me about it, and my mom as well, because there was several in the family that kind of believed in it. Mom and dad never did, and there was some problems. And like I said, I didn't know anything about it till I was a teenager, and of course, since then, even in the 80s, I, the mid late 80s and early 90s, I can even remember Watchtower articles stating that, oh, the millennium is coming to an end. Surely Armageddon's right around the corner. And we've all heard that. Well, now it's 2016. So really, is this the case? Now with the change of the generations, as an overlapping generation now, that really makes absolutely no sense to me. Um, and I'm sure it doesn't for anybody, for a lot of other people either. But what's interesting, this is something that my father and I had discussed for many years, and we didn't we didn't take, I guess you'd say, we didn't really believe the idea of Armageddon just around the corner. That was his thinking during 1975. We're not ready yet. Was what his thoughts were. Same thing with me. Now, we're not ready yet. And the idea that I come up with, and I've been thinking a lot about this lately. We know in the scriptures where it speaks about um, the nations turning against religion, but we also know that it states that there is supposed to be a cry of peace and security. So it's not just individuals saying this. This is something that the nations across the earth are going to think they finally got. And of course, it's supposed to be, I guess, a false interpretation, and then everything cuts loose. That's, of course, remains to be seen. We haven't seen that yet. There is no peace right now on the earth. There's things going around here in this country, in the U.S. There's stuff going around all over, terrorist activities, never-ending wars in the Middle East. I can, I, you can argue the point this has been going on for centuries, and it has. There's been there's been wars that have gone on for so long, and fighting between Muslims with Jews and Christians have blood on their hands just as like anybody else. So nobody is innocent in this whole situation. So really, there's got to be something, that it's not a situation like you had the Soviet Union, where there was a ban on any religion whatsoever. We know that there's bans on certain religions in other countries, including the Jehovah's Witnesses, and for different reasons. And you can't use that as an example of prosecution or the nations are turning against religion and eventually Jehovah's people. What I've come up with is the fact that if you're going to take religion out of the equation, that's going to take generations. Um, there's no way that that's close enough to really say uh, that religion has been turned on. It has to be something else. And my thinking, it's more like it's more like the different nations are going to have to approve of what religion can be active and what can't. And they're going to have to realize that the radicalism in any religion, not just Islam, not just Christianity, but any one of them, we've seen too much. We've seen too much radicalization of religion. Just look at the state of things now with ISIL and the Taliban, things like that. But even here in America, Americans are getting involved in these radical ideas too, becoming radicalized Islamists. But not just them; it's been Christianity as well. We have a whole history of Jonestown. I was little back then too. I barely remember that. I was still quite young, but I do barely remember seeing that on the news. And Jim Jones, that's what I was talking about. Then there was David Koresh and what happened there in Waco, Texas. And there's been others too. Just weird thinking that these people have. So nations are gonna have to clamp down on the activities of religions and make that a goal, because of the fact that most of the wars that we've seen and the wars that are going on right now are religious based, and of course there's greed involved too. Who owns most of the oil? Who's pumping most of the oil? Yeah, that's part of it. But so is the religious faction, the religious ideas that people continue to have and continue to push. And if that's not stopped, there is no way you're going to have peace. So I foresee an opportunity where nations are going to clamp down on that and are only going to allow certain religions to work or to do their thing. Any kind of radicalized ideas that jump out, they're probably going to jump on it and get rid of it as quickly as they can. And only then will they ever be able to say, okay, well, we have peace before everything goes to pot. So that's just kind of one of the things I've been thinking. I've been thinking a lot about it for years, but it's like I really, the past couple of months, 3 months maybe, I've really thought a lot about it. Because let's face it, as growing up as a witness, I constantly watch the news to see, the state of the world and, thinking, oh yeah, Armageddon's getting real close now. And it's not happening. And it's not going to happen in our lifetimes. This is going to be quite a bit further into the future. There's just no way around it. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. This is just my idea. But I would really like some feedback and see what everybody else thinks, because it is something that does interest me, something that I think a lot about. But like I said, I don't think it's happening anytime soon, and I'm just not convinced that we're that close. But um, please, please let me know. Leave some comments, and I'd love to hear what everybody else has to say. So thank you. I'm feeling a little better, and I think I can safely go home now, no problems. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day and a good weekend.